सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहमतोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चितामतिः।
We are seeing the section of Sadhana Chatushtaya Nirupanam, and since Sadhana Chatushtaya Nirupanam or Sadhana Chatushtaya is a part of Anubandha Chatushtaya, so first the Granthkara describes Anubandha Chatushtaya, and there the definition was given, and it was shown that among the Anubandha Chatushtaya, Prayojanam is the main one. And then the Granthkara says, Iti Vachanat Prayojanadi Jnana Bhave Vivekinam Granthe Pravruttyanupapattehe Tadanga Bhutaha Anubandhaha Prathamam Nirupyate. So because of this statement, because of the importance of Prayojana, which is shown in this particular shloka, when there is absence of this knowledge of prayojana, sambandha, etc., then there is untenability of engagement in the text, engagement in learning of the text. For whom? For the people who are thinking. And therefore, tad anga bhutaha anubandhaha. Therefore, first of all, the anubandha, which is the part of the text, is described. And now first and now in this we saw Tippani number 1. In Tippani number 1 it is said that just as the temple or the house does not stay when there is absence of 4 pillars, similarly it cannot be established with the engagement of any person in the text cannot be established on the absence of Anubandha Chatushtaya. Therefore, in the beginning of the text itself, by the author, those Anubandha Chatushtaya should be described definitely for the purpose of the engagement in the text. And then the definition of Anubandha is given. And it is said that Anubandha is that which impels the person into the analysis of Vedanta.
Impels, it is a longer word. Motivates. Is it a person?
Yes. So Anubandha.
Anubandha is a dakka. Yes.
Anubandha motivates the person into the analysis or into the study of Vedanta. That means, which is the meaning of Granthena Badnati. And whom does it motivate? The Mumukshu. And after
Anubandha को आपने living being कर दिया. Whom does he motivate? Okay, that's fine.
And after what is the Mumukshu motivated? After its own knowledge, after the knowledge or after the distinct knowledge of the Anubandha. So what is Anubandha? Anubandha is that after whose distinct knowledge the Mumukshu is engaged in the activity of this Vedanta study. And then in the main text, Adhikari Lakshanam is there. So it is said, Nisargataha eva sarvesham antఃkarane malavikshepavaranaatmaka doshatrayam aste. So naturally alone, without any special effort or without any effort in the mind of everybody, there are threefold defects. It is mala, impurity, vikshepa, agitation, restlessness, and avarana, means ignorance, veiling. And now the Granthakara shows how each one or how the first two are removed. Nishkama karmanushthanena antakaranastha malarupa dosha nivrittihi. There is removal of the defect in the form of impurity which is obtaining in the mind by the performance of nishkama karma, means the activity without any materialistic desire. Upasanaya vikshepasya nivrittihi. There is removal of vikshepa by performance of upasana. And then it is said, Yasya nishkama karmopasanabhyam malavikshepayoho nivruttau api स्वस्वरूपावारका ज्ञानम न निवृत्तम यह च पुष्कल साधन चतुष्टय संपन्नः सह अधिकारी. So that person is the adhikari for whom there is no removal. Okay, for whom even though there is removal of mala and vikshepa by the performance of nishkama karma and upasana, but still there is no removal of the ignorance which is veiling one's own true nature, and who is having sufficient fourfold qualifications also. That person is the adhikari. And we also saw the tippani on malavikshepa varanatmaka doshatrayam. So there the tippanikara says, first of all, he says that just as for the removal of the disease which is born of three defects in the form of vata, pitta, shleshma, which are the roga which is obtaining in one's own body. Yes, the vata, pitta, and shleshma which are vata, pitta, and shleshma which are obtaining in one's own body, just as Dhanvantari, Charaka, and others composed Ayurveda. Similarly, for the removal of the threefold defects called mala, vikshepa, and ajnana, which are obtaining in one's own mind and which are common to all beings, that for removal of them, Ishvara created fourfold Vedas, which are along with the three sections, it is Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. And now the Tippanikara gives a definition.
Akari means what?
Akari means he made.
What is Akari?
Did. Grew dhatu or something.
Lung Lakar.
Ah, they were made.
Was made. Sava pravritti, Sava nivritti. Akari means if we put to Krudanta, what Krudanta will come?
Krutantavan.
Krutam, not Krudam. It's an actually. Okay.
So now
you translate this. How will you translate? Because you have both the time translation reflected your ignorance. Pranay also same thing. Okay, so उसका punishment है कि फिर से करो. स्थूल देह.
just as for the removal of the disease which are born of threefold defects, that are Vata, Pitta and Shleshma, obtaining in the Sthula Sharira by Dhanvantari, Charaka and others. Ayurveda was composed. Similarly, for the removal of threefold defects called Mala, Vikshepa and Ajnana, obtaining in the mind of all living beings by Ishvara, Veda Chatushtayam, fourfold Vedas, which are along with Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda, was made or composed, was done.
Not made, but it was done. Well, made also okay. Because Veda is the made also. Okay. Then?
And now the Granthagara defines or explains the definition of Malam. Malam Nama Papam. Malam is a Papam. And that Papam is not Pratyaksha, is not perceived, yes, is not perceived by anybody. Why? Because it is very subtle. And why is it subtle? Because it is in the form of impressions. But it can be inferred. How it is inferred? It is inferred through the performance of the karmas which are prohibited, and even we can add here through the inclination and performance of prohibited actions, through Vishaya Sakti, through the attachment to objects, and through Chitta Gata Shubha Vasana, through the impressions or unhealthy tendencies which are obtaining in the mind, such as Kama, Krodha, etc. And a person who is endowed with all this becomes impure. That refers to this Malam. Malavan Purusha Malina.
So all these citizens become.
Yes.
Purusho Malino Bhavati. But if you say that Nishiddha Karmanushthanam, then Nishiddha Karmanusthanavan Papanumanena Malavanu Bhavati. Malino Bhavati. Okay. So here one clarification is that सर्वस्य वै शास्त्रस्य कर्मणो वापि कस्यचित् यावत् प्रयोजनं नोक्तं तावत् तत्त्वेन गृह्यते इति वचनात् प्रयोजनादि ज्ञानः. So here he is not emphasizing that prayojana is very important. That we have mentioned outside this shloka. He is just quoting that the knowledge of prayojanam is required for pravrutti to happen. And prayojanam is just shown as a sample. The jnanam of prayojanam is required for pravrutti in shastra to happen. And for that it is shown. And like that, prayojana, adhikari jnanam also required, vishaya jnanam also. So in that manner it should be shown. He in this grantha, or granthakara doesn't say that prayojana is very important. Okay? This we have added to notes. So elsewhere it is said, I repeated the shloka, I quoted the shloka, adhikarischa vishayaha sambandhasya prayojanaha shastrarambam phalam proktam anubandha chatushtaya. So now we are in the topic of Anubandha Chatushtaya. In Anubandha Chatushtaya, we are in the topic of Adhikari, and in Adhikari, there is Sadhana Chatushtaya as one of them. So first Adhikari is talked about. We are seeing the Lakshana, the characteristics of a person who is considered to be Adhikari for the study of it. And Adhikari discussion is important because in Shastra there is a saying, Adhikarinaha Pramiti Janako Vedaha. Veda is the producer of knowledge, Pramiti Janakaha, for a person who is Adhikari, qualified. Everywhere it is there. If a person doesn't know the terminology of mathematics and he will go and sit in MSc mathematics class, what will he understand? Is, was, not. They will say the component or dividend. What is that?
Component or dividend.
Dividend. It is used, I think, that derivation of E is equal to MC square. So, if it is done, how? What will he understand? Directly proportional, inversely proportional, inversely proportional, and all this we will not understand. Square root and cube root and all this. Root तो बोले क्या वो पैड में होता है. Therefore, even for some understanding of any subject matter, background is required. So here also adhikari is required. And we were seeing under this adhikari description, we have completed the moolam. Now we are seeing the tippana. Tippana or tippani. So mala vikshepavaranaatmaka doshatraya. Malam nama papam. Tacha संस्कारात्मना अति सूक्ष्मत्वात् न प्रत्यक्षी क्रियते किंतु निषिद्ध कर्मानुष्ठानेन by the performance of निषिद्ध कर्मा विषयासक्ति attachment to certain objects, like some people are addicted to something, it is a papa phala that they cannot get out of that. So vishayasakti, nowadays modern addiction is a computer addiction, internet addiction, and nowadays video game addiction, and elders have that. Yesterday only I heard that one person is a grandfather. I mean, he is very old, about 55, I think 65 or something. And almost whole day he is playing this video game, 60, 62, 65 around that. And because of these fingers, they are deformed. I said, my God, so much addiction. And they say when addiction is there, that neurology of the person changes. Not only this, we think only mind, but even neurology changes. So Vishasakti is a result of some papa. And that is why if somebody is addicted, we can see that poor fellow what to do. We can sympathize with him. But this particular idea should be seen properly. Otherwise, we will sympathize with our addiction also. What to do, Swamiji? I cannot give up. My papa is there. So when papa is over, I will be free from that. Wait. So that should not happen. Vishayasaktiya. Then chittagata ashubha vasana bihicha kimanumiyate papam. Tadvan papavan purushaha malinaha bhavati. Malina is a tadvita. Mala plus ini should happen. So malinaha bhavati. Malam asti yasya saha malinaha. The ina it don't happen. So the akara has come. So the other some other pratyaya must be there. So we'll find out. Okay. अतः तन्निवृत्त्यर्थे कर्निष्काम कर्माणि भूतदयादि ईश्वर नामोच्चारणादीनि च साधनानि विहितानि. For removing the impurity in the form of papam, what is the means suggested? Nishkama karmani, the actions without material motive. Bhuta dayadi, the compassion, kindful activities, the activities of kindness to living beings. Adi. Ishvara namoccharanadiricha, and chanting the names of Bhagavan are sadhanani vihitani, are prescribed as the means for removal of the impurity. The means such as nishkama karma, bhutadaya, Ishvara namocharana, These are vihitani are prescribed. Kena vihitani?
Vedena.
Huh?
Vedena.
Vedena shastrena. Shastrena vihitani. And now he wants to put a footnote. He is putting a footnote. What? Tatra. Among these three, Adya Dvayam. The first two. The first two means what? Nishkama Karmani Bhuta Dayadi. Mala Matram Nivartaye. Would remove only impurity. Matrapadena Vikshepasya Nivritti. So he wants to exclude the Vikshepa. Malamatram Nivartaye. Nishkama Karma Bhuta Daya will remove only impurity, not Vikshepa. In fact, there is a possibility of some Vikshepa. With karma, Bhuta Dayadi, you are so disturbed because you are seeing this person suffering, that person suffering. So, Bhuta Dayadi will not do the job of removing impurity. Karma Yoga to some extent it can do, but for some stage of Karma Yoga, it will be involving Vikshepa. Whereas, Namocharanam, chanting Bhagavan Nama, Vikshepam api, we have to supply Nivartaye. So, even Vikshepa it will remove. Papam it will remove definitely. Api shabdena papasya graham. Malasya graham. So, Namocharanam will remove even restlessness, agitation of the mind. So, double benefit. By Namocharana, Mala will be removed and Vikshepa also. That is why Japa is considered to be a great yajna and it is the best yajna. Where is it coming?
Japanam, Yajnanam Japa Yajnyosi.
Japanam Yajnosmi. Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi. Among all the yajnas, Japa. Because in Japa what happens? You do not require Yajna Kunda. You do not require money. And for many of the mantras, even time restriction is not there. Any time you can do. And therefore, the japa is, and also now one more benefit we got is, not only it removes mala, it removes vikshepa. When you do japa the way it is to be done, that is important. Some people will be like, Vande Mataram Express. We have to tell new name now. So, very fast. So, in between they will check the SMS. So, not that. But doing the way it is to be done, then mala, the impurity is removed and this agitation of the mind also removed. So, vikshepamapi nivartaye. Alright, so he has got some soft corner for now. Therefore, if that occurred to him to write here, even though it is not a context, but he wanted to put a note. And it is true also. It does. Now Vikshepa. Vikshepaha nama chitta chanchalyam. Sorry. Now you can read this way.
Vikshepaha nama chitta chanchalyam.
Okay, after this. Vikshepa means chitta chanchalyam, the restlessness of the mind. Chanchalasya bhavaha chanchalyam. Chanchala means flickering, restless. Chal dhatu, chanchala. That is, chanchala means flickering, restless. Chanchalya means restlessness. Restlessness, agitation of the mind is called vikshepa. And now he further talks about the vikshepa and the solution. Yasya chittam vedanta shravane स्वरूपानुसन्धाने वा स्थैर्यं न प्राप्नोति. Yasya chitta, one whose mind, स्थैर्यं, steadiness, na prapnoti, does not attain steadiness. Where? In which situation? Vedanta Shravane. In listening to Vedanta. The mind goes all over. So many people cannot attend the class fully. In between they require some distraction. What is clock? What is the picture and all. That is why generally we don't keep any colorful or any background with some pictures. We don't keep. Why? Otherwise that will be distraction. So they will be thinking, oh, who must have drawn this picture? Looks very old, you know. So here, everywhere Dakshinamurti picture only is there. I think this is a Shaivite, Shaivite. So they will not like Krishna. But I like Krishna. So all this is therefore this mind is not available. I mean, it means the mind is not available due to Vedanta Shravana. So yasya chittam Vedanta Shravane स्थैर्यं न प्राप्नोति. Or Swarupanusandhane va. Swarupanusandhana means what? Contemplation upon one's true nature. स्थैर्यं न प्राप्नोति. In Nididhyasana. Swarupanusandhanam is another word for Nididhyasana. The mind does not attain steadiness. One Swamiji was telling them, बोले कि वो ध्यान में बैठा और जब उठा तो 5 साल का प्लान बना के उठा. So he made 5-year plan. So when he got up, means what? Nididhyasana was not done. Only all planning happens. So स्थैर्यं न प्राप्नोति. किंतु but विषयाभिमुखी भवति. किं भवति विषयाभिमुखी? चित्तम. The mind becomes oriented to, inclined to the objects, sense objects. During Shravanam or during contemplation, the mind becomes inclined to the sense objects. This is the nature of Vikshepa. This paragraph, this sentence is showing the nature of Vikshepa. Vikshepa means this happens. Chitta Chanchalya means this happens. Chitta Chanchalyam does not mean that thoughts are changing. That is not an issue. Thoughts should change. Because Swamiji used to say that if thoughts are not changing, imagine that you see this person and your mind is frozen. Means what? Wherever you go, only even if you are looking at the chair, still you will see that person. Problem? You cannot transact. So, the thoughts of the mind are changing. That is not Chanchalyam. What is Chanchalyam? When mind needs to focus on something, it is not capable of remaining focused. It goes to the sense objects. Like, oh, kal wala mic tha na? He was telling that mic, if one mic came, no? He said, if he put it straight, so he doesn't remain. Stay from the practice. That is the nature of Vikshepa. Our mind thinks that is not a problem. And our mind entertains different types of thoughts, that also is not a problem. The thoughts of the mind keep changing, that's not a problem. What is the problem? Problem is that when mind needs to focus on a given subject matter, he is not able to focus. It wanders where it is not required or where it is not supposed to. Either way. That is called Vikshepa. So this is the nature of Vikshepa. Tena tannivruttaye. Tena means tena hetuna. Since because of this restlessness, the mind is going outside, not able to focus on contemplation or Vedanta Shravanam. Therefore, tannivruttaye. Vikshepa nivrittaye Ishvara namocharanam, repeating the names of Ishvara. This is there in many religions, chanting the name. Therefore, even in Christianity it is there, Islam it is there, they will have mala. Different maybe form of mala, but have remembering the name of the Lord. And how do you say it will help to remove papa? Shastra vihitat. Shastrena. Shastra has taught. Therefore, it will do remove papa, and we can see that when you do something with an attempt to focus, then mind develops focus. Like, how do you learn swimming? By swimming. How do you learn driving? By driving. How do you learn cooking? By cooking. Having some sympathizer person to eat. That's how we do. Similarly, how do you develop concentration? By the exercise which involves concentration. How do you develop patience? By doing something which requires patience. Generally, I tell them, you just clean this some spinach, some coriander leaves, so that it requires a lot of patience. That will do it. So the person who doesn't have patience, no issue for a second faith. So that's how it is. So similarly here, Ishvara Namocharanam, with this intention of developing concentration and purity, it will definitely help in developing this concentration, Vikshepa Nivritti. Then, Ajapa Mantra Vrittihi. Mantra Vrittihi means the repetition of the mantra. And what mantra? Ajapa mantra. Now, this Ajapa, one Acharya translates it as Manasa Japa. Manasa Mantra Vrittihi is called Ajapa Mantra. An explanation that Acharya gives is Ajapa means where Japaha means Vagucharanam na vidyate yasyam. Japaha Vagucharanam na vidyate yasyam. Sa Ajapa Mantravritti. Ajapa Mantravritti. This is one explanation. Then in that case, Ajapa and Mantravritti should be separate. And otherwise, Bhashita Pumska will come and it should be Ajapa Mantravritti. Separate. Is it clear? This simple explanation. So, Ajapa Mantravritti means the repetition of, it's a mental repetition of the mantra. Which is itself requires a lot of practice. Otherwise, you end up, you think that you are not using the lips, but it will be, our tongue will be moving. Alright. So, Ajapa Mantra Vruti means Manasa Japa. Another interpretation is Ajapa Mantra means Soham Hansaha Mantra. Soham Hansaha. Hansas Soham, sorry. Hansas Soham, Soham Hansaha. Hansas Soham Mantra. That is called Ajapa. Ajapa mantra means Hansas Soham mantra is called Ajapa mantra. And Avritti repetition. And why it is called Ajapa? Because na japyate, na uchcharyate, apitu श्वास प्रश्वासयोः गमनागमनाभ्यां सम्पाद्यते in Ajapa. So Ajapa means that which is not japyate, means na uchcharyate, not repeated deliberately, but Shvasha prasvasayoho gamanagamanabyam sampat. By the arrival and departure of inhalation and exhalation, it is accomplished. And according to these yogis, they say it is already happening. When you are inhaling ansas soham, it is already happening. You have to just pay the attention. So your sadhana is to pay the attention that when you are inhaling, hamsa is happening, exhaling, soham happening. And when you pay the attention, then the mind also gets tuned with that. So it will be chanting as ansas soham mentally, without any deliberation. Ajapa has got main idea, effortless chanting of the mantra. And they say we have 21,600 sets of inhalation exhalation. Means 21,000 we inhale, 21,000 we exhale. And that many japa will happen. Even we are sleeping, it will happen. The sleeping, your breathing is there, no? So, ajapa mantra means the mantra chanted without your deliberate effort. And traditionally, it is in the form of Hansa Soham. This mantra, mantra vritti, ajapa mantra vritti is also one of the sadhanas for chitta vikshepana. But you have to pay attention. It is not that even though effort is not an initial stage, you have to pay attention. Then, by lot of efforts, you get effortless chanting. That's a very important principle. Effortlessness in a given field will be attained by lot of efforts, either in this janma or previous. See, certain things people do they see these ladies, they roll the rotis without even looking somewhere, talking and all that. How it happened? Lot of efforts. That one lady was telling when I was small, my mother, or I think some lady said, if roti doesn't come out round, one, that roller, no, they call it roller. That it. So they remember, sir, it comes out properly. Then afterwards, effortlessly it happens. So here also, effort and then first effort and effortless chanting. That also helps in the Vikshepana. How it happens helps because moment your mind withdraws from one activity, default setting is already japa. It is already available. And therefore person will have more concentration. So once any given distraction, any given job is over, immediately like screen saver, no? It will always be there. Ajapa mantra vritti Ishvara Murti Dhyana. So Ajapa mantra vritti can be said that repetition of the effortless mantra of Hansa Soul. Or simple meaning, mental repetition. Earlier was what? Ucharana. Ishvara Namucharanam. Therefore it will be either Ucha Japa or Upamshu Japa. Ishvara Namucharanam refers to Ucha and Manda. Otherwise called Upamshu Japa. And this Ajapa mantra vritti is mental mantra. Repetition. Effortless mental repetition of the mantra is Ajapa mantra vritti. Then Ishvara Murti Dhyanam. Meditation on the form of the Lord. How? With Ishvara Murti Dhyanam, how do we do? First we sit in front of some vigraha or a picture and minutely observe every part of the Lord. All minute parts. Many times we might not have noticed that how many fingers are there, which one is bigger, we might not have noticed. But now we notice everything minutely. Slowly we go up. And then each part, the knee joint is there, further up, the waist region, Bhagavan has got some girdle, the chest, some mala is there, all minutely. In that mala also, which type of bead is there, very minutely also. And also in order. Not that first feet and go to the head and again hand, not like that. Slowly we go in a particular order. And again from top, from the head to this nakha. Say, nakhadi shironta. There are some sutras on the Lord where the description of each part of the Lord is given, starting from the nail up to the head. So we go up and down and up and again up and down. We do it with open eyes. Then we close the eyes. And then we try to visualize what we had seen with open eyes. And try to focus that form in our mind. And sometimes they prescribe one more thing, that you visualize that form obtaining in your heart. This becomes what? Ishvara Murti Dhyana. That also is what? Tannivruttaye Anushtheya. Anushtheyanvaya. For the removal of Vikshepa, Ishvara Murti Dhyanam, etc. Upayaha Anushtheya. Then next one. Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam Ityadi Upaya. The means such as Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam. Anusandhanam is contemplation upon Nirguna Brahma, attributeless Brahma. This can be interpreted as Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam also is the means, etc. Nididhyasanam, etc. Upayaha means Anushtheyaha should be practiced. So main sentence would be what? Tannivruttaye Upayaha Anushtheyaha. For the removal of this Vikshepa, distraction, this upayas means should be practiced. And in that what are upaya? Ishvara Namocharanam, Ajapa Mantra Vritti, Ishvara Murti Dhyanam, which is otherwise called Saguna Dhyanam. Ishvara Murti Dhyanam, otherwise called Saguna Dhyanam, otherwise called Upasana. And last one is Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam Ityadi, etc. And this Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam, as I said, can be taken as Nididhyasana. So Nididhyasanam also helps to bring the concentration of the mind. Now question will be, Swamiji, just now you said, Swarupanusandhane Stharyam na prapyati. If he doesn't have steadiness of the mind in contemplation, how can he do the contemplation? Same thing. Swamiji, I don't know swimming, how can I swim? There is no other way. You cannot say, Swamiji, let me give all theories, let me understand. So even if you understand theory, still you can be drowned. So it has to be learned. So practice of Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam, Nididhyasanam will help you to develop concentration, because of which that Vikshepa, which was there, is reduced, because developing concentration means Vikshepa everything. So only by practice it happens. So even though you are having difficulty in it, but still that alone you have to do. Like, somebody is afraid of something. Therefore what? That person will avoid that thing. I am afraid, therefore I avoid. And afterwards what happens? Since I am avoiding, I am more afraid. So what he has to do? He has to confront it. But Swamiji, how can I confront? I am afraid of it. Even though you are afraid, you confront in a very mild form. Some person had this lizard problem. So I said, he's a lizard, something I cannot see. So I said, what you do? You just see the picture of lizard. That itself is frightening. Really, it's not that easy. The people who have got phobia, to see picture itself is difficult. So first I said, and also he said, mild picture you see. Because in lizard also, because of her, I also got lot of idea about. There are some frightening lizard also picture. Hey, even people like us were not having for a second. So first mild. So you see, there was a catch-22 situation that I am afraid, therefore I am avoiding, and I am avoiding, therefore I am further afraid. So somewhere we have to break it, and then we start with the picture, and then we will say that you see little bit having little bit ferocious, and we can ask them to draw that. We draw it. Then Amazon we ordered. So that plastic lizards are there. So I said you keep it, and that also she cannot keep it here, some distance. Then slowly coming here. That's how. So similarly, you have problem in doing meditation. How do? You sit for meditation and do it in a very mild form like Manasa Japa, etc. And slowly you will have absorption. Alright. This is one Nididhyasana. Another meaning of this Nirguna Brahmanusandhanam is as per Panchadashi 9th chapter, Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So previous one was Saguna Brahma Dhyanam. This is Nirguna Brahma Upasana. That also can be Payaha Anushtheyaha. And Adipadena Prana Vikshanam. Now we will not say Prana Vikshanadi, then again you have to suppress the Prana Vikshanam. Watching your breath. It is popular all over the world. This exercise, no? All over the world. It is in Buddhism and in religion, this watching your breath. It is a secular exercise, so no problem. Otherwise, something problem. In this, no problem. Now, why Anushtheyaha? They say, Upasanadi Vihi Chittaikagriya Sambhava. For removal of restlessness of the mind, these means are to be practiced because Upasanadivihi, by this meditation, etc., there is possibility of concentration of the mind. And when concentration of the mind happens, the vikshepa is removed. When richness comes, poverty goes. So we have seen this idea earlier also that rather than focusing on our weakness, you focus more on developing the strength. Rather than focusing on the restlessness of the mind, try to have concentration. You focus on concentration. Not that, oh, Swami, I am so restless, You are strengthening your restlessness. Instead of that, I am trying to develop concentration. We have to change our approach towards this sadhana. Rather than focusing on weakness, focusing on your attempt to develop the strength. You are not fooling yourself. This is like modern thing is you just visualize that you are already having concentration. Already it has happened. Think. We don't go by that because it's not realistic. We are reality people. So you can have positive affirmation based on the reality. Right now what you are doing? I am trying to develop concentration. I am in the process of developing concentration. Many people say, Swami, I am forgetting everything. He said, you are going against yourself. Swami, I forget everything. I said, what's your name? I know whom we are talking to. I mean, this I have not asked. They know Swami. Oh, Swami, I don't know who you are. So first of all, I said, stop using the word everything. You can say, I am not able to remember all those things which I would like to remember. And now I am practicing some memory exercise. This is a very healthy approach. Focus on your attempt, focus on the goal of the sadhana rather than focusing on the failure. Sorry, that time I felt, that time I felt, that time I felt. But you are inviting that. Alright. So here, चित्तैकाग्र्य संभवात् उपासनादिभिः चित्तैकाग्र्य संभवात् उपायाः अनुष्ठेयाः. That should be practiced. Alright. Now, next one. This beautiful idea is given. For Mala Nivrutti, one upaya was suggested. For Vikshepa Nivrutti, another upaya was suggested. Now, one very peculiar upaya is suggested which will work for both Mala and Vikshepa Nivrutti. Mala and Vikshepa both. One Namocharanam is of course there. Ishvara Namocharanam is there. But one more is suggested. And that is Shariravaang Manovihi Pushkalena Ganena Shushrushaya cha Ishvaraha eva Aspat Ananta Koti Janmarjita Sukrita Paripathamshat Guru Murti Rupena Avatiranaha Iti Shri Sadguru Pasanam Kurya. Seems to be very easy upaya, but found difficult by most of the people. That upaya is suggested. And it is a very multifarious, 2-in-1. Vikshepa also gone, then this also, Mala also gone. But it requires some type of frame of mind, some, I think, punyam also. Nowadays it is becoming more difficult. What is that? Shri Sadguru Pasanam Kuriyat. One should do, Kuriyat means one should do Upasanam, serving Shri Sadguru, glorious, great Guru. That also is one sadhana. And how it is to be done? Shariravan Manobihi Pushkalena Dhanena. With the help of body, speech, mind, and Pushkalena Dhanena. Whatever wealth we can afford to give, Pushkalena Dhanena. Shushrushaya, serving with all. Shariravan Manobihi Pushkalena Dhanena Shushruya. And with Seva. Sadguru Upasanam Kurya. So with the help of body, mind, and organ of speech, serving the teacher. And also Pushkalena Dhanena. Some people say, Swamiji, हम पैसे नहीं दे सकते, सेवा करेंगे. अब पैसा नहीं, money is not there and therefore don't do is not there. Money, Swamiji, I cannot part. That mind, it shows that value is less. If person doesn't have money, doesn't give, it's not a big thing. But the mind is that, no, I will keep all things my way. I will not part with it. My body is anyway available. And if I do seva, some exercise also will happen. So let me do it. That's correct. Whatever I can give, whatever I can offer, I am ready to offer. That mind is there. Pushkalena, Dhanena, and Shushrushaya. Alright. Sadguru Upasanam Kuriyat. And while doing this service to the teacher, what is the mind? That matters the most. What is the mind? Ishvaraha eva the Lord alone, Guru Murti Rupena Avatirnaha, is incarnated, manifested in the form of the figure of Guru. Guru Murti Rupena, in the form of the figure of Guru. Means Bhagavan alone has appeared in the form of my teacher. And how is it possible? He said, Ananta Koti Janmarjita Sukruta Paripaka Vashat. Vashat means because of, by the force of Paripaka, the maturity of Sukruta, Punyam, Arjita, acquired. How? Koti Janma. When acquired? During crores of births. And Ananta Koti. Ananta Koti means innumerable crores of Janma. Ananta Koti means innumerable crores. 10 million is called crore. Ananta Koti Janmarjita Sukruta Paripaka Vashat. Because of the force of the maturity of the punyam acquired during innumerable crores of births. In simple words, because of the maturity of some punyam done by me, Bhagavan is appeared in the form of Guru Murti, in the figure of Gurti. With this attitude, Sadguru Upasanam Puya. Then what? Yasya Deve Parabhakti Ityadi Shrutehe. First we give the Shruti. That why this Upasana is prescribed? Because Shruti says, Yasya Deve Parabhakti Yatha Deve Tatha Guru Yasyete Katita Hyarthaha Prakashante Mahatmana. A person who has got highest devotion for the Lord and same devotion is for the teacher, for that person alone, there is availability of understanding of the meaning of the Shastra. Means for them alone, the words of the scripture will reveal the meaning. So because of this Shruti Vakya which prescribes this Guru Bhakti, we can say that Sadguru Pasanam Kurya. And now important note he makes. Etaccha Guru Pasanam. This serving the teacher, Vina Eva, without Karmopasanadi Sadhana Kalapam, without the group of the means in the form of karma, upasana, etc., chitta shuddhi dvara, through the purification of the mind, chittai kagryam, the concentration of the mind, janaye, would create. So main sentence is Guru Pasanam chitta shuddhi dvara chittai kagryam janaye. Guru Pasana would create the concentration of the mind by way of removal of the impurity of the mind. But in this problem is, this is very easy, that if you have some guru, you serve him, then Mala Upasana, Mala and Vikshepa both will be removed. Because your mind is focused on that. So when a person is serving with commitment, he is focused on the person. He is keeping all his ragadveshas aside. Whatever is convenience of the Guru, accordingly I shape my life. So my ragadveshas are gone. I feel like watching something, but this is the time to serve the Guru. Therefore that is dropped. So slowly my ragadveshas are dropped. They are subserving the preferences or the requirements for Guru. Drop. And because of my focus on that only, Guru only, the mind is withdrawn from other things. And therefore, Vida Karmopasanadi Kalapam Chitta Shuddhi Dvara Chittai Kangyam Jani. But the problem is that nowadays, such gurus who can invoke that Upasyatva, those type of gurus are less. And Sishyas are also less because Sishya now more individuality is emphasized. Why should I have the slave mentality? I don't want. If he wants to teach, let him teach. When he teaches me, it is good for him also. Like that some mind comes, and therefore students also don't have mind because of the influence of so many social educational factors, and such gurus are also not available. Therefore this upaya is very good, but still nowadays so much not in use. But still they are there. In Vedanta it may not be happening, in other field it happens. It should happen in Vedanta, it doesn't happen. But in other field like some teaching some yoga or some other sadhanas, for that I have seen sometimes so much Shraddha. I wish that type of Shraddha they had in Vedanta. In Vedanta they don't have. But when they are in some other field, I have seen so much they do. In fact, that main thing is that only. Other activities only some aarti is there and some 10-15 minute meditation. That otherwise whole day seva only. But they may not have this perhaps attitude. Therefore, it might not be benefiting so much. But if it happens, it is a very good means. Alright. Now, one more means is suggested, which is we are adopting. Nice to see. Okay, what we are doing is prescribed here. अथवा अहर्निशं वेदान्तश्रवणे एव अत्यन्तमादरेण तीव्रतरा प्रवृत्ति अपि उपायान्तरम् एव. Aharnisham, day and night, Vedanta Shravane, in the listening to Vedanta alone, Atyantam Adarena, with great sense of importance, Tivratara Pravrittihi, very intense engagement in Vedanta Shravana, Api also is Upayantaram Eva, is another method for Bala Vikshepa Nivritti. More about this, let's see next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.